Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 4 Materials, Metals and Non-Metals, Lecture 3. This is your subject science for class 8. In the end, we are also going to discuss homework solutions of Lecture 2. So let's start with the lecture. Topics to be discussed today will be chemical properties, reaction of oxygen with nonmetals, reaction of metals and nonmetals with water. Chemical properties, reaction of oxygen for non-metals. Yesterday we have discussed reaction of oxygen with metals, and we have also discussed a activity for the same for proving that metal oxides are basic in nature. Today we are going to start that for non-metals. So generally non-metals also produce oxides when reacted with oxygen. But in contrast to metals, these oxides are acidic in nature. Testing the nature of non-metal. First, what is the activity you will do? Take a small amount of powdered sulfur in a deflagrating spoon and then heat it. As you can see in the picture, this is the spoon. So, what will be the second step? As soon as sulfur starts burning, introduce the spoon into a gas jar or glass tumbler. So as soon as sulfur will start burning, okay, we need to introduce that spoon into the glass tumbler. Okay. Next point is cover the tumbler with a lid. So we need to cover it with a lid to ensure that the gas produced does not escape. Because you need to ensure that the gas which is producing inside that tumbler should not get escape. वो बाहर ना चली जाए. Escape means it should not go out of the tumbler. So as you can see, burning of sulfur powder. Okay, and this is an improvised deflagrating spoon. If in case in the lab the spoon is not available, which is given on the left hand side, so you can also make a temporary spoon like this from a cap. Okay, and then you can put it down in the glass tumbler and then you can cover it with the lid so that the gas should not go outside. So this is all the experiment this activity will look like. Okay. After some time, remove the spoon, and after some time you need to remove the spoon. Add a small quantity of water into the tumbler. Now you will add a little bit of water, that is H2O, into the tumbler and quickly replace the lid. And you need to be very quick about this. Okay, you need to quickly replace the lid. Now what you will do? Shake the tumbler well. You need to shake the tumbler well. Check the solution with the red and blue litmus paper. After shaking the tumbler, now there is a solution prepared. That solution you need to check with the red and blue litmus papers respectively. So this process will be like this. You are taking out that water solution in a dish or a petri dish or a china ball, and then you are testing the litmus paper. So this will look like this, testing of solution with litmus paper. Fine. What will happen now? Fifth step will be the name of the product formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen is sulfur dioxide gas. So this is the product which is formed, that is sulfur dioxide gas. When sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, sulfurous acid is formed. When sulfur dioxide is going to dissolve with water, that is H2O, sulfurous acid will form, that is H2SO3. Okay. So now we should know the chemical reaction as well, that how the chemical reaction will be. So now following is the reaction to express it. So sulfur dioxide chemical formula is SO2 plus water, chemical formula is H2O, will give sulfurous acid, that is H2SO3. So this will be the chemical reaction for the process. The last point is the sulfurous acid turns blue litmus paper red because it's an acid. So it will turn blue litmus paper to red. So what is the conclusion? Generally, oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. So hence we are proving it with this activity that oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. And yesterday what we have proved? We have proved that metals are basic in nature. Metal oxides are basic in nature. Today we have proved that oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. Next part of the discussion is reaction with water. Now how the metals and non-metals are going to react with water. For that, for metals, some metals react vigorously with water, like in case of sodium. Sodium also gets react with water very easily. Okay, that's why sodium and potassium also is a very reactive metal, are stored in kerosene oil. Okay, while some metals react very slowly with water. Few of the metals are like that, it gets react very easily, and few of the metals are like the reaction is very slow. Okay, so some of them react very slowly in water. In case of iron, iron is also a metal, but iron reaction with water is a slow process. It's not like sodium that it will react within few seconds. So as you can see in this picture, the reaction of sodium with water. Okay, there is lot more of fire, and this water, the sodium is getting react with water so fast. And this is a kerosene oil jar in which sodium is being kept, because sodium is a very reactive metal, and if it is kept in open, it could also react with air, and as well it reacts with water also very quickly and badly. Now we will go with for non-metals. Generally, most non-metals do not react with water. Okay, most of the non-metals are not going to react with water, but there are some non-metals which are quite reactive in air, like phosphorus. Phosphorus is quite reactive with air, which is very reactive, and it's kept in. So when we talk about phosphorus, is very reactive and it's kept in water to prevent explosion. So if we don't want explosion, we need to keep phosphorus in water because it is very reactive with air. But for water, non-metals generally does not react with water. Now what will be the homework for today? That you need to do NCERT exercise question and answers. This question number 6, A part, B part and D part you will do, because C part is still we need to discuss. So this first, second and fourth part I have given for the homework. Okay, A part is aluminium foils are used to wrap food items. You need to explain this. Second is immersion rods for heating liquids are made up of metallic substances. What is the reason for this one? And the last is that we have discussed just now that sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene. Why? Okay, so you need to give reason for all these three. This is the homework for today. Now we are going to discuss homework solutions of lecture 2 as well. So yesterday I gave you this question, match the substances given in column A with their uses and given in column B. In column A you can see gold, iron, aluminium, carbon, copper and mercury. In column B you can see thermometers, electric wire, wrapping food, jewelry, machinery, fuel. So now what will be the answers of this one? So answer is gold is used for making jewelry, iron is used in machinery, aluminium is used in wrapping food in our kitchen. We use this aluminium foil. Carbon is used as a fuel. Copper is used in electric wires, and mercury is used in thermometers, because mercury is the only metal which is liquid at room temperature. Next question was question number 11. One day Rita went to a jeweler's shop with her mother. Her mother gave old jewelry to the goldsmith to polish. Next day, when they bought the jewelry back, they found that there was a slight loss in its weight. Can you suggest a reason for the loss in weight? This was the question which I gave you yesterday. So solution is, in order to polish the gold ornament, it is to be dipped into a liquid called aqua regia. Okay, what is aqua regia? A mixture of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. That is HCl and HNO3. On getting dissolved in environment of aqua regia, the outer layer of gold dissolves and an inner shiny layer appears. The dissolving of the layer causes a reduction in the weight of the jewelry. Okay, so what happened? The dissolving of when we get dissolved the gold in aqua regia, the outer layer of the gold dissolves and an inner shiny layer appears. Okay, so the dissolving of a layer can cause a reduction in weight of the jewelry. So this is the answer. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.